football runs it way back. Kendall Gammon mines the wealth of knowledge of former players. Brought to you by Mid-American Wealth Advisory Group. Let them design the financial plan that is right for you. MidAmericanWealthAdvisory.com. Now, here's Kendall.
All right, Tim Grunhard, inducted into the Chiefs Hall of Fame last year, Ring of Honor. Former teammate of mine for 1 year, 11-year NFL veteran. Tim, first and foremost, appreciate you coming on today.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. It's game week. Very excited. Last week we had the appetizers with all those college football games, and this week, really starting tomorrow, man, the main course, the NFL is here. It's a great week in Kansas City.
Yeah, it really is, and obviously Chiefs Kingdom, it's like no other, and every team thinks they have the greatest fans, but Chiefs Kingdom is different. Of course, playing over a decade in Arrowhead and what goes on there. Okay, let's get right to this game. As you look at Arizona, what do you see? What stands out for you?
Well, I think, listen, it's a quarterback-driven league, Kendall, as you know. So Kyler Murray, is secure now with a new big contract. He's the undisputed leader of that team, which I think is a good thing for the Cardinals. He's a dynamic guy. He makes a lot of plays, both with his feet and his arms. So, when you look at this young defense of the Kansas City Chiefs that is very, very athletic and really, I think, plays with just a lot of intensity and enthusiasm and speed. But they've got to be technique and assignment sound against a quarterback like Kyle Murray. So that's the first thing. You got to be able to limit him on those broken plays and, running around and making plays with his feet. And then obviously limiting some of the things he does with his arm. And then on the other side, I think the offensive line is secure this year. So, Patrick Mahomes last year, I think going into the first game of the year, was worried about how much time he was going to have with a new offensive line and wasn't particularly worried about the timing of the wide receivers. Well, I think this year you kind of flip it around where he's not worried about the time that he's going to get, but I'm sure he's a little bit concerned and just thinking about, hey, we got some new receivers and the timing is going to be a little bit different. So kind of a flip and rolls from time to timing from last year to this year.
Speaking with Tim Grunhard, 11-year NFL veteran with the Kansas City Chiefs. Tim, okay, when you talk about the offensive line. When you talk about the run game, what do you see happen there? I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's shown great potential, but he seems to have the injury bug at time. And then, just talk about him, and then also when you look at Pacheco, and what have you seen from him, and is he really going to step in and do some things even as a rookie?
Yeah, that's the kind of the big $1 million question. Yeah, the offensive line really in the off season and during preseason, it didn't seem like they were as cohesive as I thought they'd be in the running game. They struggled a little bit the running game, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like you said, has been injured over the years, and I think it's his running style. He's such a kind of a with his shoulders up running style that he takes a lot of direct hits. So let's hope that they straighten that out a little bit. But yeah, when you talk about the running game, it has to be established, and that was going to be one of my points in this game. They got to establish a running game a little bit, because I think these wide receivers with Smith-Schuster and with Valdez-Scantling and Hardman and Moore, I think that it's all predicated on making sure those safeties kind of creep up a little bit with some of the things they want to do with the mesh patterns and some different things, timing patterns, which I think is going to be part of the repertoire of the Kansas City Chiefs offense this year. But it's hard to do that if you can't run the ball. So I think they got to establish a run game in order to give Patrick Mahomes a little bit more space, a little bit more breathing room in the passing game. And when you talk about Pacheco, I think he's going to be more of a special teams guy. I think he'll come in every once in a while in the running game. But, I think you'll see McKinnon and I think you'll see Jones mostly being the guys that'll spell Hardman. But, the running game is important, Kendall, as you know, and they got to establish it.
Certainly a lot of stars on this team, but if Tim Grunhard is paying attention to one player during this game while you're watching it, who would it be?
Yeah, I am just enamored with George Karlaftis. I love the way that kid plays. I mean, I love his nickname, Furious George, and he plays hard. He plays furious. I'm going to watch him and see how he matches up in a regular NFL game for 4 quarters with that kind of adrenaline and that kind of effort that he puts in. If he can hold out for 4 quarters, we got something really, really special. He reminds me a lot of Max Crosby with the Vegas Raiders. One of those guys you just hate to play against. Doesn't really look like he's that dynamic of a player. But, boy, you watch him on film and he shows up. So, yeah, man, I think that's the low end for him is Max Crosby. And I think Max Crosby's a hell of a football player. But I'm telling you, I think we have something special in here where, hopefully he can get to the level where Bosa and Watts are, the Watts brothers. I mean, if he can get there, we got something going. And I really like this. So I'm going to watch George Karlaftis, Furious George, in this game. An offensive lineman watching a defensive lineman. What's the world coming to, Kendall?
You're exactly right. Cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Okay, your prediction for the game today, Tim?
Yeah, I think that the Chiefs take care of it. I think it's going to be close in the first half. I think you're going to see some threes and outs on both sides. I think, the timing of the offense because of preseason games, not a lot of guys playing significant roles. So I think you'll see a little bit of a stalemate early. But I think in the second half, the Chiefs pull away. I'm expecting the Chiefs to score between 24 and 28. So I'll say 28. And I think that the Cardinals will score about 14, maybe 17. But I think the Chiefs win about 28-17, right in that area. Patrick Mahomes in the second half, I think he gets on a roll. And when Patrick Mahomes is on a roll, watch out. He can do special things. So I think the Chiefs fans will be happy Sunday afternoon and Sunday evening as they sit back and put their feet up and watch a Sunday night football game, which I know a lot of them will do. But I think they'll be happy as they have their wings and beer on Sunday night because the Chiefs will win the game.
Yeah, and if you're living in Kansas, you're betting also, so that's even better. Okay, we appreciate you coming on, as always. Before we let you go, just quickly, you wrote a book, View from the Center. You got to let us know a little bit about that and where folks could go to pick it up.
Yeah, man, that's thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, you can go to timgrunhard.com. If you order from there, you get a signed autograph. I sign everyone that's ordered from that website. But you can get them everywhere at Amazon. You can get them on Walmart. You can get them on all the different book sites, Barnes & Noble. And we'll have some signings coming up. So look at Grunny61 on Twitter. There'll be some book signings coming up here next week and the week after. But, yeah, it was fun to write. Kendall, you were a part of that 90s. We've kind of built the foundation for the Chiefs stand right now. And the book is a lot about the relationship between the fans and the players. It was built in the 90s, this foundation built in the 90s where the Kansas City Chiefs were able to hold up the Lombardi Trophy kind of on the foundation that was built during that time where the Chiefs organization kind of came out of a little bit of a doldrum and started to get back into national prominence. So we talk a lot about that.
He is Tim Grunhard, Chiefs legend, Ring of Honor, former teammate. As always, Tim, appreciate your insight. Thanks for coming on.
Hey, anytime, Kendall. You know that, man, and you do a great job. And, yeah, man, really looking forward to a great Chiefs season. Keep everybody healthy, win a bunch of football games. Hey, and let's all go down to Arizona and party in February for the Super Bowl.